It took me years to feel comfortable to wear shorts or a sports bra to the gym because I always thought, when I would wear those things, I was drawing the wrong kind of attention. And it took me so long to realize, like, it doesn't matter what you wear, right? So at the gym today, I was doing sumo deadlifts, and Billy ends up doing double take, which, if you guys know Billy, that's just how he is. And then as he's walking towards the water, this old man is like, oh, it's worth it. And he goes, yeah, that's my wife.
Oh, Billy's a husband.
I'm just like laughing it off. But it truly made me feel so uncomfortable and disgusting, and like so many thoughts are playing in my head, like it's because what I'm wearing, or it's, maybe I shouldn't have been doing that exercise. Maybe I should have had, usually when I do deadlifts, I usually have a sweatshirt to, put around my waist. But I did it because it's fucking 90 degrees. And then it just so happened that Laura called, and she's my best friend. It was just so ironic. We haven't spoken a couple days. And so, like, that eased me down. But then when I started talking to her about it, I had to go to the bathroom because I go to the gym to work out, not be sexualized. I go to the gym to feel strong, to let out my frustrations, to, know that if I'm ever in that position, I could take care of myself. But then...
Wait. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something that I'm missing that happened that caused this hysteria? Is there a reason why she's this upset? Because another man in front of her husband, by the way, might add, turns around as he's walking past, or just walking past, just turns around and says, it's working. Take the compliment and keep it moving. He didn't stop and talk to you. It wasn't something that was super disrespectful that your husband felt it was an issue. Or maybe it was. Maybe I'm missing it. Maybe the comment was inappropriate. But with that being said, to trigger this reaction, and I get it. Men in the gym should not be soliciting any kind of inappropriate comments to women. But just from my point of view, I didn't think that was that bad. Especially if he said it in front of your husband. Maybe it was more of a compliment. It wasn't something that was meant to be too flirtatious, because what someone says sometimes and how we read into it can be two completely different things. He might have meant it just so innocently and said, you know what, it's working, like you're getting to the shape that you're getting to. You might not be talking about your posterior. You might not be talking about anything apart from the fact that, he might have seen you 2 weeks ago and you were struggling, and now all of a sudden, there's so many different ways we can read into it. But to bring this level of hysteria to the point where you're making a video and bringing it to social media and telling us about Billy and Janet and everyone on a first name basis like we know who these people are is absolutely crazy. And it just lets us understand that there are so many different people out here, and how they experience the world is so completely different. Because I wouldn't expect a comment like that to draw this type of reaction from this woman like this. I wouldn't expect that. But in her world, this is completely acceptable in terms of how you would react to a situation like that, which then leads me to believe how many other people out there like that. And we know there's a lot, but we only get to see it on social media and in other people's experiences if we haven't actually experienced it ourselves. So it just lets you know you got to be so careful with how you interact, what you say to people, because they might take it in a way that ultimately could get you put in a position or a situation that then leads to something completely out of proportion. Because say her husband wasn't there, and say her husband was a little bit of an aggressive guy, and she goes home and she says that this guy said this, and maybe she embellishes the story a little bit and And now all of a sudden you got your husband coming down to the gym. So many different things can happen within this type of situation. Luckily your husband was there and he didn't seem to take offense to it, because I don't think it was a super offensive comment to say. I believe he said it's working or something along those lines. I think it's just a passing compliment. Sometimes people say stuff. You live in a world where people, regardless of whether you like it or not, they're going to at sometimes say something, maybe do something that is a little bit out of the norm. But as far as this goes, I don't think that is completely out of the norm. She could have shut it down in person and said, you know what, like, thank you, I know you're probably trying to compliment me, but no thanks, I don't appreciate it, so it's all good. Shut it down, it won't happen again, and then you can go from there. Or you can turn around and go directly to your husband, which is probably the correct route, and say, I don't really think that was the best thing for him to say, and this is how it made me feel. And then your husband can deal with the matter from there. So he's either going to say, hey honey, I believe you're overreacting, or he can go and speak to the guy in a nice calm manner and say, hey listen, I know you were probably trying to be complimentary, but my wife said it made her feel a little bit uncomfortable, so just to let you know. And then you take it from there and see how he reacts. Obviously if he reacts in a little bit more of a in a way where it's confrontational, then it could be a situation. Then you can know, well, he meant it in a little bit of a derogatory way, or he meant it in a way where he's being a little bit flirtatious with your wife, which is completely unacceptable. But ultimately coming and saying your husband was there, he observed the scene, Billy observed the scene, and you are hysterically upset, still crying tears after the matter. So what happens when something absolutely serious happens? What happens when this is why people need to keep themselves in check a little bit, because this often then becomes the case that when something actually happens that's a lot more serious, no one's really going to take you seriously, because this is what you're crying about. This is what brought tears out of you. This is what you wanted to come to social media to tell us this. Listen, people are more soft these days than ever before, and no disrespect to her, because at the end of the day, I don't know what's going on in her life, but at the same time, this is a bit soft. It's a bit soft.
This happened, and I just feel so weak and I feel so small. I don't know why this is bothering me so much. Holy shit.
Exactly.
It's just sad that us women go to the gym to feel good, but then we are also sexualized. The logic side of me is like, regardless what you wear, people that are like that are going to look regardless, right? Because that's just how they are. Thanks for coming to my vent session.
And you know what? Situations like this where women specifically put this kind of rhetoric out, that everything is making you sexualized and everything is something to get offended about, that then these younger girls are going to see it and they're going to turn around and think, okay, well, anything a man says to me that maybe doesn't sit well with me, regardless of whether I feel it's truly offensive or not, if it makes me feel a certain type of way, then I can turn around and say, and I was sexually, it just doesn't make sense. Not everything is sexualizing you. Not everything is to be taken in a negative way. Not everything needs to be something that you need to come and cry to social media about. Sometimes you got to kind of just deal with the situation on the spot and say, hey, listen, just for clarification, what did you mean? Can I understand what you meant by that? Or you turn around and you just brush it off and say thank you and keep it moving. Thank you very much. I've been working on it. Keep it moving, and give someone else a compliment on your way out. Oh, it looks like you're in good form as well. You obviously see, oh, by the way, blah, 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 blah. It's just a bit too much. It's a bit too much for me. It's a bit too much. Yeah, women like this are probably always going to be forever the victim, and they're going to come and spread this news on social media, and then the rhetoric is going to be taken up by the younger generation, and then we're going to find ourselves in a place with overly sensitive people that go out there and feel everything is to be taken offense to, when it's truly not. But let me know what you guys think. I didn't actually notice what was making her cry to this point in the first instance. Let me know, ladies, let me know if you think this was truly offensive. Obviously, we do know that women can be subjected to sexualization in gyms, so it's not dismissing that fact. But in this specific case, yeah, I'd love to know what you think. Is she overreacting? Is she not overreacting? Is it well within her means? How do you think about her husband's reaction on this? He said nothing, so I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'd love to know what you think. And as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.